This is the first of 2 lessons in which you'll learn how to add code to your Android app. As we've seen in previous lessons, there are a number of resources we can use to help create new code, including the developer's website, API demos and worksheet, Android sample projects, and web search. In this lesson, we'll tap into these resources to help us add an enhancement to our first app project. To refresh our memory, let's start our first app. In Eclipse, I'll highlight the first app project and click the debug button. And we see our simple line of text displayed. Now we're going to add to our first app. Let's say we've seen ratings used in other apps and think they might enhance our app. So we decide to add rating stars to our app. First, we do some research. Let's start with the API demos worksheet. In the worksheet, let's search the demo name on rating. And notice as we add characters, the selections picked up show down here. And as I add an S, it shows no items match our search. So what I'm going to do is back off and use the singular rating. Click OK. And we get a hit in the primary group views of rating bar with the Java file name ratingbar1. So let's fire it up in the emulator. We'll start the API demos. And in Views, click Rating Bar. So what do we see? We have a couple of rating bars at the top, one with 3 stars, one with 5, and then others down here. As we click on the bars up on top, we get an average rating showing down here. And notice we can click on whole stars or half stars. Now let's look at the rating bar code. In the API demos source, in Views, we'll click Rating Bar 1, open that. And what I like to do first is just scan quickly through code to get a rough feel for it, how long it is, how complex it is, what classes it's using, etc. So we see there's about 75 statements, not too complex, it doesn't look like. Looking at the display it creates, it's doing some things that we might not be interested in, such as displaying an average rating of the 2 bars down here. So we probably won't want to use all the code from this demo activity. And let's expand this out. In line 29, we see that our main class implements the rating bar on rating bar change listener. So we make a note that we might need to add this interface to our existing class. Lines 30 through 32 define some variables used below. Line 35 defines our onCreate method. Line 38 initializes our display using the rating bar 1 layout. So let's take a look at that. In the layout folder, we'll open rating bar 1. And we see it defines a number of rating bars, 2 here, more down here. And let's look at one of them. In lines 23 through 27, it defines a single rating bar. So it looks like we want one of these in our app. Now let's open the layout of our first app enhancement. I've already created a new app in the Working Files workspace called First App Project Enhancement. So let's open the layout. And if we look in the Graphical Layout tab, we see where I've added a stars bar up at the top. Now, the way I did it was using the Form widget. I simply clicked on the stars bar and dragged it onto the screen. And I can just simply undo my operation. I'll use a Control-Z characters. And this is a handy way to play around with adding elements to your screen. If you don't like what you've done, you can just undo what you changed. Now let's look at the XML tab, and we see that in line 15 of the rating bar that was added, the ID is rating bar 1, and we'll need that in our Java code to refer to the rating bar. Also notice that there's no num stars or rating attributes included in our XML. In the rating bar 1 XML, we see that there's a number of stars and rating included here. So it looks like these are optional attributes, and we'll leave them out for now. That's the first of our 2 lessons on adding code to your Android apps. Let's move on to the second lesson.